Alrighty, Ruin Cuckoo Cuckoo to you, and me nobody's not watching out there. Let's go back to this one and be like, yeah, this one.
If you could have any job, what would it be?
Supreme ruler of Earth. You said
So
any job.
not ambitious at all.
Want to rule Earth.
It just seems like too much bother.
Else, they're lying, and their lie detector should go off.
Not every.
Totalitarianism can be a very effective form of government with the right ruler. Look at Vlad the Impaler. Sure. He has
or Genghis Khan. Yeah, he did, you know.
Some have said his methods were too harsh. But look at his empire and how smoothly it was run.
There's a lot of debate back and forth on
Hardly
historically both of those things.
I could do that.
Could you?
Be the next Vlad the Impaler.
I gotta know your superpower.
If you could have any superpower, what would you choose?
Necromancy.
I knew it! Called it! Called it. Called it.
Anyone can take a living person, turn them into a dead one.
Yeah, even an accident.
Just take a dead one, turn them back into a
That's
living
art right there.
That would really be something.
Fair enough.
Just imagine. You really hated somebody.
That's I not
you can
fucking
kill them.
And then do it again. Bring it back. And then do it again.
Kill them again.
Lather, rinse, repeat, bitch.
Bring them back.
Called it.
Kill them again.
100% predicted that, like, early on.
Have to live with the anticipation.
The anticipation.
You're going to find them. They just don't know when.
Oh, you would let them run? You'd give them like, yeah, go ahead. Give you a head start.
Having your own legion of the undead would be pretty useful.
I mean, you kill them and you're just like, meh. You really got to put out some effort to make them not get back up again. What's your most embarrassing memory?
What is your most embarrassing memory?
I'm afraid I'm gonna get my host guy here killed.
My parents forced me to attend the birthday party of the girl who lived next door. They fed me copious amounts of candies, cakes, ice cream.
Other treats, delicious, sweet, sugary, delectables.
I got caught up in such a sugar rush. I actually participated in their games.
But their Girl Scout cookies weren't made
the worst
from Girl Scouts.
Afterwards, many of these peasants actually thought we were friends.
Regret?
What is your biggest regret?
That's easy. There are many people I've encountered in my life.
Yeah, I knew it was gonna be. I knew it was gonna be some fucking Andrew Jackson shit. My only regrets in life are that I didn't kill these two people. I didn't kill enough motherfuckers. Andrew Jackson, it's like that I didn't kill this guy or kill that guy. It's like you killed a lot of people apparently. That's your regret, is you didn't. It's like didn't quite kill enough people. Those two really deserved it. Like,
what was your childhood dream?
Fuck you, Oliver Twist. Sorry.
I've always wanted to be possessed by a demon.
Kinky.
That's still my dream. Maybe one day I can make it happen.
It doesn't feel like it's that hard to do if you're really dedicated to it, but I've been watching the show Evil. Oh, I binged that, so I just it kind of seems like it'll find you, honey. It'll find you. Let's go to her. What about you? What's this?
What is your most controversial?
She's gonna be like, toilet paper is inferior.
Okay.
Bidets are the only way to go.
There's this James Bond movie called The World Is Not Enough, where Denise Richards plays a physicist. Everyone was making fun of it, saying that she did a terrible job and that it was sexist of them to cast her. Here's the thing. She did fine. If she was more plain looking, I guarantee nobody would have said anything.
I
The
don't know
people
that I've seen
who are
this
saying that
movie.
I'm sexist are the sexist ones. They don't believe that a woman can be hot and smart enough to be a
It's a
scientist.
Bond movie.
And that's the most sexist thing you can do.
Okay. It's a Bond movie. It's Bond movie. Bond girls. It's a trope thing. Tell me about your unusual
What is
talent.
your most unusual talent?
I'm a really good cook.
Hmm.
If I had to live in the old days
Good
where
for
people
you.
had to cook their own meals, I could
Do
bring
you
just fine.
do you mean I swear to God if you no didn't I was like expecting it to go into a joke territory where she's like I can put anything in a microwave and it just works like and they just left it at that like legitimately I think she understand like they didn't take it any farther to me that and she's actually legitimately able to cook despite her upbringing and I mean she got a pony when she was 8. She's got so many rooms in the house she lives in. She doesn't even know she's been in all of them. Which is kind of strange in the sense that, like, come on. Maybe, I mean, okay. There's reasons why you might not be able to go into certain rooms and stuff. But, like, generally you would be like, I'm exploratory as a child. I'm like, oh, look, I'm an You're definitely an only child. Okay, never. What was your childhood dream? Let's stick on that.
What was
I guess.
your
I don't know.
childhood dream?
I'm a huge Disney fan. When I
Not a
was growing
surprise.
up, all I ever wanted to do was date a prince and live happily ever after. Then I grew up,
Which one?
and I realized how unrealistic that fantasy is.
Yeah, this princess ain't.
I've dated a prince,
Right?
and they're not charming like in the movies.
Yeah, they're. No. She's actually a weirdly real person for her character. Like, I don't know what to say, and she's sort of like actually
if you
kind
could
of
have
real.
any job, what would it be?
I want to design handbags and accessories. I've considered designing clothes, but I think accessories is my real passion.
I mean, accessories actually have a. See, that's a short, concise, and very real thing. Accessories are much. They add so much to fashion. I'm not fashionista or whatever, but you could take a simple outfit and with accessories just make it something like wow, amazing. Like, and I think that's actually a really smart move on her part. It's like actually designing clothing depending on your audience, your demographic, like you want to do Paris runways, you want to be derelict, all that. Like, you get some weird stuff. Motherfuckers looking like Oliver Tree and shit, like Zoolander making fun of them, but that's actually what's happening. Like, stuff where you're just like, okay, I guess. Like, handbags, accessories, they can only go so crazy. I'm sure I probably am ignorant of how crazy they can get, but because they need to serve a function, Now, a person might pay like the price of a small used car or even just a small car for a small handbag that's like basically I don't know, like, let's go grade school with it, like friggin' like, oh, this is like your little like pencil satchel, whatever the fuck they're called, you know, little that thingy. Basically it looks like a fancy version of something you would keep your glasses in, but a little bit bigger. Glasses, earbuds, and a whole spot for, I don't know, those suckers that help you not be hungry or something. And that could be like $3,000 or something, you know? And it's all of like less than 10 inches by 5, 10 by 5 at most. That's like the highest dimension, but yeah, sure, whatever.
What
Makes sense.
advice would you give to your younger self?
Start acting and modeling earlier. I was 9 years old when I started. Other girls had a huge head start on me by then, so I had to play catch up.
Well, you've done very well for yourself, hon. I was like I say, it's like, I don't really agree with that whole concept of, it's just really hard, it seems, psychologically on the individual, but whatever. What's your happiest memory, my guy?
What is your happiest memory?
I'm going there in my mind right now.
In your mind palace?
Absolutely my happiest memory.
Are you serious? The Phantom?
Going to see The Phantom Menace.
Oh,
on the big
Phantom
screen.
Menace.
Star Wars Episode 1. You see, let's rewind. I thought I would never see new
Okay.
Star Wars in my lifetime.
Alright.
So when that came to pass, and I found myself butt in seat, looking up in a theater, brand new,
That's a moment.
taking me to a galaxy far,
Gotcha.
far away. The
Darth Jar Jar is the thing. It should have been Darth Jar Jar. Darth Jar Jar.
Star
Darth Jar
Wars
Jar.
logo, the score. John Williams.
Yeah. It should have been
I
Darth
can
Jar Jar.
honestly say I was never happier.
You know what?
Now,
I get it.
the quality overall of the prequels, that is another conversation. But for that frozen moment
Moment in time. I get it.
kill
See-
me now. I'm good.
I don't like how much you speak to the culture. As much as I don't agree with a lot of the things you say, that is very much nerd culture. Not necessarily that you had to have that experience or other experiences, you know, but that is definitely something that could be said. That's very much comic book nerd guy. Forget his actual name. He's got a real name. Life well spent. You know, like seeing that in person in a circumstance that you didn't think that would ever happen. That moment of anticipation and waiting in line and that this is just like, oh, it happened after all these years and I get to be here and I get to do this. Just like the forefathers, the nerds, the elder geeks, the dweeboids and freakazoids and other things. Like, that created and changed the world in a way that made this possible. And the prequels have that's a different conversation. But before all that happens, that moment where the text scrolls up in the iconic manner and you're just in a galaxy far away. Like, again, that's iconic, and that's people assuming things go well enough, we'll look back at certain Marvel stuff if it has that sort of staying power. Like, I know I went and saw No Way Home? No Way Home, right? Yeah, No Way Home. And I saw it like twice, and people friggin', like, I saw it first day, and I saw it again later, and people just, you don't hear people cheer for non-live theater very often. Those moments. I think those are cool. So, it's sort of like that. People will think the same way. I think that's cool. But, no, I already asked you about power. What would you do for them? I bet he probably broke some stupid ass off. That was your childhood dream, I guess.
What was your childhood dream?
My childhood
I
dream
just wanted to
was
know
always
how to be the to know how to
the first
have the ability
or
of
youngest
force.
person to accomplish something.
Ah.
Like, I would have loved to have been the youngest person
Right.
ever to graduate from MIT, or the youngest person ever to travel to space.
Mm-hmm.
But as you grow old, you start to lose that dream.
Well, yeah, you
because
can't.
When you're 9 years old and you publish an article in a physics journal, that's amazing. When you're 35 years old and you do it,
Still pretty amazing, but
you're just a nerd.
okay, I gotcha. Fair. Just to know what your fear is, I guess.
What's your biggest fear?
Okay, my biggest fear, and this might be uncommon.
He's gonna
but
be like,
I am
Like
afraid
frogs?
of things that can't really happen.
ah.
Things that are like an optical illusion.
He's like,
that
M.C.
aren't
Escher
possible
scares
in
the
real
shit
life.
out of
For
me.
example,
Dude, I called
M.C.
it!
Escher paintings.
I called it!
Like a staircase that starts nowhere
Those-
and leads to nowhere.
Those monks,
and
they just keep
walls
going.
and
They just keep
architecture
going.
are not possible.
That
in real
tuning
life,
fork, that's
or
not real.
Opening a door and a room.
I love that
is
shit personally,
upside
but
down,
I get it.
or just
I love that.
objects that move through space and do not
Yeah,
abide
okay,
by
you
the
have to
laws
have-
of physics.
But you like sci-fi.
Because I'm a logical person, I'm trying to wrap my head around these
You're
things,
like, but they're
and
not real.
Because, I can't get a toehold in logic into how that setup is occurring, I lose my bearings.
And you wear a
And-
shirt for pi.
That is my biggest fear.
That's weird, because pi is, effectively an infinite number, which is something that people can't really understand, and you at least understand it to the nearly 2000th place, which is impressive. But there's fractals, which I would assume you're very well aware of, and I would assume you have some concept of quantum physics, wherever it is at this point in the timeline. And that would be interesting to you. But even just numbers, just the concept that between just zero as a concept is, well, it's been lost and then relearned and refigured out. But there's a history to the concept of of zero, just not just the symbol, but the concept of it mathematically. And then the distance between 0 and 1 is infinite, because math is not an invention of humanity. It is a discovery we make, and we continue to make discoveries like the Pythagorean theorem and blah blah blah. Like how like the speed of light, and thermodynamics, the laws of entropy. we're still trying to figure out gravity, time, and space, but we got relativity. We're working on a theory of everything. We don't have that yet because quantum physics really throws a monkey wrench in it, but people are trying to figure out whether or not it's just like we should just treat them as two different things, and most people do want to, but that just doesn't rub a lot of mathematicians or physicists or people who, scientists, just people who want to know. They want, it has to all be one thing. It can't just be, oh, it's this thing and it's this thing, because we're all in the same thing. It's all in the same fishbowl. You can't just be like, well, that's what it's like over on that side. It's like, that's what it's like when it's hot or cold or whatever. We can deal with that. We can't accept that it's still within the fucking fishbowl, but it doesn't apply by those rules, and gravity and time are not playing nice when it comes to quantum stuff. Also, just, I don't know why people are not more bothered by the fact that light's just like a skittish, like, I'm just gonna go otaku with it, like, oh, it's an anime and you don't have to leave, but I'm going to change, but turn away and stay in the room, but I'm gonna change clothing. And it's like, if you don't look, it's a wave, but if you do look, it's a particle. And it's just like, what? Why is that not tripping more people out? Like, why does that happen? Why does it collapse? It's wave function. Like, why does it stop being this fuzzy thing? And it's not just that, but that's the thing people are most... And then also just the ability to affect things where we shouldn't be able to. It gets crazy. Let's see your most unpopular
what is your
opinion.
most controversial or unpopular opinion?
I swear to God, if it's Jar Jar Binks, Jar Jar Binks should be Darth. Jar Jar Binks.
Controversial/unpopular opinion. A lot of people say that it's pretty bogus that Superman
No, it's not.
puts on a pair of glasses and he becomes Clark Kent,
He has.
and no one knows who he is.
He has hypnotic abilities that just
I
most
actually
people
think
don't
that
know
checks
about
out.
that. What?
See, I've thought about this a lot. Now,
Not enough.
there's this hero, and
Look, he
then
does
you see
slouch
someone who's
and
kind of your
reduce
normal
himself.
neighbor. You wouldn't associate that. Like,
They
your
look
mind
the
wouldn't go there.
same.
Like, here's an example. Let's say you have a neighbor
Are
who
you
looks
kidding?
exactly like Barack Obama, but his hair is a little different, and he wears glasses, and he's got a normal job. Let's say he works at
That's
a gas station.
that's kind of racist.
And you wouldn't say my neighbor James, who works at the gas station, has glasses, is ex-president of the United States Barack Obama. You'd say, oh, that guy kind of looks like Barack Obama, but it's not Barack Obama. Same thing. You wouldn't say, oh, Clark, who is a
Well,
cub
James would
reporter
have the
for,
Secret Service protecting him and also
Daily
get
Planet.
paid for being
He
president.
can't be Superman. He's a bumbling goof. He slightly looks like Superman. Remember, Clark is uncoordinated.
Deliberately.
Clark is bad at
I already said about
Superman
this.
is the best. So you would not make that leap. I think it would totally work. Unpopular opinion, and I stand by it.
I disagree because you don't know your DC fucking lore proper, and I'm not even a DC fanboy. I prefer Marvel, but no, he actually has hypnotic abilities. It's one of his many, basically all he can do whatever he needs at any time. and he has a subconscious, even I think it's described, hypnotic effect upon others, so that people just don't tell. Like Spider-Man, people don't find out he's Spider-Man because his spider sense prevents him from revealing himself as Spider-Man, except when physically forced, and that's still pretty rare, except under certain circumstances where the Spidey sense, which is whatever, that's not a great example in the sense that, oh, he trusts this person, or he thinks the Spidey sense can be tricked, and there's exceptions. Clark can also have exceptions to that. He can allow people to know. He can tell them, and then that hypnotic effect doesn't make them forget. Although I'm confident he can probably actively choose to make it happen if he wants to. I'm sure he has. But generally, people just don't get it. Like, you could literally, like, he all the time is just, oh, what happened to Clark? And he comes back and no one questions it because it's a subliminal hypnotic effect that prevents people from understanding that he is, there's no other way, that they had to write that in. There's no other way to make that work. It's not because, oh, he slouches and he grows like a whole ass fucking 5 inches because, you know, he stands up straight and, you know, he puffs his chest out and he looks like, you know, the Man of Steel, as opposed to some guy who just, wow, you must work out at the gym. Why are you so, like, I've been bullied my entire life and I still expect it. Like, PTSD kind of thing. Like, it wouldn't change that. People would still be like, you're just faking it, dude. Especially reporters. Work with people who their job is to research, study, question, and be inquisitive. Their job is professional curiosity and not letting that gut feeling go. He has to have the hypnotic effect. So, nerd points deducted, but I still like you, dude. I'll still probably pick you just because there's only 3 of you left, and I want to see if, I don't think anything will happen, but just because they used that first ad and had a name drop, it just seems strange. I was curious, what's the most serious law?
What's the most serious law you've ever broken?
He's like, I have like 35 unpaid parking tickets.
I would say the most serious law I've ever broken is
Making it a movie. Fuck you, dude.
So, in 2015, Star Wars The Force Awakens was coming out, and there was an advanced sneak preview screening beforehand.
Of course.
And it was invite only.
But I knew somebody.
So I figured out a way around that since I wasn't invited, but I did want to see it. I'm not going to tell you what theater it was or what theater chain because
that
I
paranoid?
do not want to get a phone call from their attorneys. But
This is a very real
this
character,
advanced screening,
as dumb as it is.
I went to a movie at that theater, and then I stayed in the theater all night long.
Wow.
I hid in the bathroom, slept there, and then the next day, I was in the theater.
They're like, it was closed, but I knew
screening,
that
and
it
there
would
were
be
a couple
closed, so I just
of
hid.
seats open. It wasn't completely full, so I got into the sneak preview. I saw The Force Awakens early. I'm not proud of it. It's
You
probably
are.
a big felony, but
I don't think so,
I would
but
do it again.
That's the end of this round.
oh my god,
Soon
this
find
guy,
out
this
who will be going
motherfucking guy.
After this message from our sponsor.
Okay, what is it now?
Today's episode is brought to you by the letter K.
Oh, okay.
Now it's time for the audience.
Just the letter K, you know?
Please enter the selection of the contestant you think.
Just the letter K. I'm sorry, I need to know more about her, just to, it's not that I particularly favor